Hello, everybody. We got Steve and Brian here. We are doing our thoughtful design critique on the OpenAI Playground, platform.openai.com/playground. Getting into it here, Steve is going to talk a little bit about why we chose this OpenAI Playground. Go ahead, Steve.
Well, hello everybody. So the reason we chose this particular website was twofold. First of all, the popularity around this chat GPT technology is really amazing. It's estimated to have reached 100 million active users in January, just 2 months after launch. The second thing about it is it's a very controversial site because of the artificial intelligence aspect. And one of the things that this website did was the artificial intelligence bot passed the law exams and totally blew everybody away. The only place that it was really low on was math. Otherwise, it passed the law exams and it could be a lawyer. So that's the reason why we chose it.
Great. Thanks, Steve. Here's the framework that we're using. Framework for critique. We're going to talk a little bit about aesthetics, usability, utility effectiveness, and the use of technology. So Steve is going to talk a little bit about the aesthetics of this. Go ahead, Steve.
Okay, so we feel that aesthetically the site rates relatively low. They haven't really utilized technology to give us a really fun interface. They haven't really used any emotional design techniques to really warm us up to what we can do with the site. And so from aesthetics perspective, we feel that the site rates low.
Okay, yeah. And so going into usability here, let's demo it. So when you open it up, I mean, it is very clear where you're supposed to go. It's got this big old text box here. It says write a tagline for an ice cream shop. So if you jump right into this, you're going to intuitively click here and you're going to start testing it out. Write a tagline for an ice cream shop. So I'll just type in ice cream sold here. Okay, I typed it in. I'm looking around. Well, you've got this big green button down at the bottom. Submit. Okay, I'll click submit. And it gives us this. We sell a variety of delicious ice cream flavors from classic favorites like vanilla, etc. It basically rewrote this in a much kind of better, or at least more elaborate style. So now I'm like, okay, it tells me what to do. Note here, it did give me this get started in the left. So if you were completely lost, you could go here. I skipped this altogether when I went into it because it was so intuitive where we type and we get into it. So now I know from the usability, the simple intuitive design, what it does. It's going to encourage my experimentation here. So I'm gonna go in. I can still click in the text box. I'm going to click enter maybe a couple times, and I'm going to type it another thing here. I'm going to experiment some more. What technological affordances does OpenAI.com make use of? Let's see what it has to say. I'm going to click submit again. Makes use of a number of technological affordances, including machine learning algorithms, natural language processing, and robotics. So it's talking a little bit about how it does it. It talks about it is capable of solving complex problems, image recognition, and more. All of these types of things. So I'm experimenting and all that kind of stuff. When I experiment more, I go over here. It's got some mouse over tooltips for explaining what some of these things are. So, can users effectively and efficiently accomplish a set of tasks in the design? Baseline, yes, so far. That being said, we go into model, there's a lot of reading going on here, and we'll talk about this a little bit. A lot of reading going on here. It's not intuitively clear what text Babbage 001 means. When you go over here, the length, it says the maximum number of tokens to generate. Okay, what's a token? One token is roughly 4 characters for normal English text. Okay, you have got to go down to figure out what that is. I wonder if it really needed to say tokens or just characters instead. Um, so this whole stuff over here might be a little foreign to an untrained user. I'm going to go ahead and then talk about utility. I'm gonna ask it one more thing here. I'm going to ask it, is OpenAI.com thoughtfully designed? And I'm going to click submit. It says it's thoughtfully designed. It has an intuitive layout, clear, easy to follow navigation, modern design elements. Um, I don't know if I necessarily see the modern design elements outside of it being clean. Capabilities, all these kinds of things. So, does it satisfy outlined pedagogical requirements? Sure, at a baseline, although there's a lot of kind of confusing things and clutter that is kind of difficult to go through. So now to wrap it up, talking about effectiveness, Steve, what do you think about the overall effectiveness of this?
Well, when we talked about effectiveness, what Brian and I decided was that effectiveness is really how is it being used and is it effective out there in the marketplace? And I think the answer to that question is yes, it is. And currently, OpenAI has been used in all forms of business. Recruiters can input a large number of resumes into a Google Sheet and have the AI algorithm analyze and score each resume. That's pretty effective use of this. Another big area is that OpenAI's recent breakthrough of pre-trained language model GPT-3, which I don't know anything about, but it has revolutionized the concept of machines actually writing code for websites like people. So in the terms of technology and effectiveness, we would really give the site a high rating.
Why we chose this framework for critique. Steve, you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, no, Brian was the artist here with our graphic, and I think it's great. What we wanted to look for in the where we're using this framework is to say that there are certain leading indicators that help a website become effective, and we felt that aesthetics and usability fell into that category. And then the second thing is trailing indicators. So trailing indicators are a site of, is it being used? Does it work? And so we're saying that in terms of utility and effectiveness, as trailing indicators, we look at historically how's it been used, and it ranks really high there. It's being used a lot. So with regard to that, Brian's going to dive a little deeper into these categories.
Yeah, okay. So, looking at potential improvements, we've talked a lot about what is good about it, but some things that were very clear that could be improved is mostly in regards to that right-hand toolbar. Uh, maybe suggest paring it down, making it much more user-friendly instead of using all of these advanced names for things. Turn it to sliders. When you want to decide the length of the response, a slider from short to long. For temperature, a slider from repetitive to random, rather than having to read about, what a token is and read about what all these different things are. The model names, instead of those very interesting names, make them more self-explanatory names like college professor, business person, marketer, things like that are some potential improvements there. And then to wrap it up, some research questions that we're curious about in regards to this is what are the overall effects of OpenAI on education? This is a very groundbreaking thing. Is it more often used to aid in understanding, right? How would I answer this question? Or to improve one's writing, how might I write this? Or to cheat, write my answer for me for things. And then in addition to that, is there any anti-plagiarism software that can effectively catch these responses? It looks like Elon Musk is looking into catching it a little bit, but that would be a really great thing to dive into. So with that is our presentation on OpenAI.com. Thank you all so much.